Alibaba's Qwen has reportedly passed 3 billion cumulative downloads worldwide, ahead of comparable open model offerings from Meta and Google, with especially strong adoption in Southeast Asia and Africa. That number matters not because it proves commercial success, but because it points to where developer attention may be settling first. Asia's AI competition is not only about who owns the biggest data center or the most advanced frontier model. It is also about who becomes the default software layer for developers, enterprises, and governments that need something flexible, affordable, and deployable on local terms. Downloads are not the same as paid production use, and Alibaba's real upside from Qwen remains unproven. But in price-sensitive markets with less vendor lock-in, open-weight distribution can become the foundation other systems are built on before revenue models fully mature. That makes Qwen's reach less a victory lap than an early signal of platform influence. That software story sits inside a larger geopolitical question raised by the second Pax Silica Summit involving India. The central issue is whether participation in a US-led AI technology framework gives India durable access to critical infrastructure, or mainly signals political alignment without firm guarantees. India remains closely tied to American AI infrastructure, from models to cloud capacity, even as it pursues greater technological sovereignty. The key distinction is between access and control. A country can benefit from another power's AI systems while having little influence over the rules that govern them, their continuity, or their future availability. That gap between using a system and shaping it is the strategic tension running through the rest of the story. India's response to that tension becomes clearer in semiconductor policy. In Independence Day remarks, Prime Minister Modi said 3 semiconductor plants have begun operations, with 5 to 8 more likely over the next 7 to 8 years. At this stage, that's best read as a policy continuity signal rather than a fully defined investment roadmap. The available information does not include company names, locations, investment figures, or technical details for those future plans. What it does show is that India's answer to the sovereignty question is being expressed through a long horizon commitment to domestic chip manufacturing. Whether that ambition turns into globally competitive fabrication capacity will depend on details that are not yet public. For now, the signal is directional. India is trying to reduce external dependence in hardware by building capacity at home, even on a multi-year timetable. Vietnam is pursuing a parallel but distinct strategy through supply chain positioning. The newly formalized Haiphong Free Trade Zone is northern Vietnam's first such zone, and it is explicitly oriented towards semiconductors, precision manufacturing, and logistics. LG Innotek has appeared in the broader reported context as an early semiconductor-related participant, giving the zone some initial credibility. The significance here is not simply that Vietnam wants more manufacturing. It is that Vietnam appears to be trying to move beyond its familiar role as a spillover destination for companies diversifying out of China and toward a more formal, institutional place within semiconductor-adjacent supply chains. Even so, the specific incentive structure, capacity goals, and timelines for Haiphong are not established in the available information. This is a real platform, but its eventual scale and pace remain open questions. Inside China, the demand side of the AI build-out is now visible in foundry economics. SMIC reported record second quarter 2026 revenue above $3 billion, with net profit tripling year over year. Co-CEO Zhao Haijun said the company would raise prices for its most sought-after production capacity, citing tighter supply driven by domestic demand for AI peripheral chips. That is an important signal, but it needs to be read carefully. It does not mean China has resolved its constraints at the leading edge of semiconductor manufacturing. It does suggest that AI-linked value is spreading into supporting chips that domestic foundries can produce at scale. Pricing power in that adjacent layer of the stack is still meaningful pricing power. It implies that China's AI expansion is already creating commercial leverage in areas where local industry is operationally capable, even without a breakthrough at the frontier node. The final piece of this picture sits in Taiwan, at the equipment and packaging layer. Skytech expects demand to remain high through the second quarter of 2027 for PVD equipment used in panel-level packaging, with traction coming from server and US-based customers. Advanced packaging has become a real constraint point in scaling AI hardware, so this matters beyond one company's order visibility. It suggests Taiwan's role may be extending beyond foundries and final assembly into specialized equipment that supports newer packaging formats. It is important to stay precise here as well. The available information does not establish that panel-level packaging is becoming an industry standard. What it does establish is that the equipment layer deserves closer attention, because hardware bottlenecks may increasingly appear there, rather than only in chip design or wafer fabrication. Taken together, these 6 signals form a layered map of Asian AI power. Qwen points to a contest over developer defaults and software distribution. PAC Silica highlights the geopolitical trade-off between access to external AI infrastructure and control over it. India's semiconductor remarks show that sovereignty is being pursued not only diplomatically, but through long-cycle industrial policy. Haiphong shows Vietnam trying to institutionalize its role in semiconductor-adjacent supply chains. SMIC shows domestic AI demand reshaping the economics of the chips China can actually make at scale. Skytech points to advanced packaging equipment as a serious watch point in the next phase of hardware constraint. None of this proves a single coordinated regional strategy. It does show that Asia's AI competition is broadening across every layer of the stack, rather than concentrating only at the frontier model or accelerator level. Software distribution, cloud dependence, fabrication plans, trade zone platforms, mature node pricing power, and packaging equipment are all becoming part of the same strategic contest. For investors, the discipline is to treat these as early but meaningful signals, not confirmed outcomes. The key is to separate policy intent from durable commercial scale. Watch whether Qwen's downloads translate into real production use. Watch whether India's semiconductor plans become more specific at the project level. Watch whether Haiphong can attract sustained tenant growth. Watch whether SMIC's pricing strength persists across future quarters. And watch whether panel-level packaging demand in Taiwan broadens beyond its current customer base. The through line across all 6 stories is straightforward. In Asia's AI race, access is no longer the finish line. Control over software distribution, manufacturing capacity, supply chain platforms, and hardware bottlenecks is where the next phase of competition is actually being decided.